they had two altar boys at every Mass when I came here. And I don't know that I thought it was a 7 in my day, but it could have been 6. But always there were two altar boys, and if they missed, they'd go on probation and then couldn't serve the Sunday Masses. And it was a huge crew, and there was competition to be good and to do the major events like Christmas and Easter and all of that. And then there had to be 3 servers at a funeral, so everyone wanted to be a very well-ranked server so they could do funerals. They'd get out of class, and most of the funeral directors gave them a couple of bucks, so it wasn't a bad deal. Father Mertz came, and he was going to be pastor. He was administrator for a short period, but then would become pastor. And early on, Archbishop Byrne, who was a coadjutor archbishop, asked him to come over to the chancery and talk about something. Well, when he got there, it was really a setup, and it was not the original purpose of the meeting. And the Archbishop said, it must be very tough for you with 2 assistants doing what they're doing, one running for office, one going to law school. And instead of letting him take the conversation there, Father Mertz said, I thought that we were going to talk about something else, and I'm very pleased with my assistants. They're doing good work. So he didn't let him take it where he didn't want it to go. Yes. They always began the evening with the Mass, and perhaps the one that I remember the best is one that I shouldn't remember the best, and no names will be used, but there'd be many couples. There'd be a couple hundred people, so 100 couples in the church, I would think. And the sign of peace had recently been introduced as part of the liturgy. And there was one well-known couple in the parish that were active in most everything. And it came time for the sign of peace, and this couple turned to each other and shook hands, and then proceeded to kiss everyone else in the church. So we thought maybe this was a sign the marriage wasn't going too well, but I think it was just a bad night for the 2 of them. But I couldn't stop laughing at the altar, saying, oh my, oh my, oh my. But that was a very active group. And then there was another group of women who had what we traditionally call a retreat group. And they thought retreat meant running away. So instead of calling it a retreat group, they called it an advance group. Now the name didn't last as long as the people did, but I don't hear anybody talking about I'm going on an advance. I would conclude saying that the best thing, without a doubt, as good as all the parish life in the rectory and the community life in the rectory is, there was not a parish that welcomed priests more warmly and without judgment. I came following a person who had been very active. People loved him, or they thought he was doing way too much, type of thing. So it was a difficult person to follow, and yet it was the easiest thing in the world because people made it easy and didn't judge you by somebody before or after, but it was wonderful. Great people, great spirit, always proud to tell people you're from Incarnation. I went to downtown St. Paul at Assumption.
Okay.
And finished law school, went right to St. Thomas, and still there. But I also helped at Assumption for a number of years, weekended with Father Mertz. He became pastor. And I was pastor myself while teaching and working at St. Thomas for 20 years. Congratulations on 100 years. They are filled with wonderful big events a lot of people know, but most importantly, they're full of little events where families and small groups celebrated the significant, important events in their life. It'll affect them forever, and it was made possible by a wonderful, caring, supportive parish. God bless you many more years.